What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Silent Hill 2 remake hate that has made its way over to Wikipedia, what's been going on over there, and just kind of discuss the craziness of it. Like, look, the game is out officially today, I guess maybe even last night, to those that just wanted to get the standard edition, right? I'm going to be playing the game. I'm extremely excited and very excited to start making videos on my thoughts, and, some of the breakdowns, that I'm going to do on this game. So, I'm excited. The scores were very high, and we've talked about those, right? Like, I mean, the scores are cool, and it's cool to see the game getting praised. Like, that's definitely a cool thing, and in terms of what they were saying about the game, that was very good. The score itself doesn't necessarily matter, but it's honestly just crazy to me what happened. So I guess just the short of it is Wikipedia, obviously, as we all know by now, we're all old enough, you can alter, Wikipedia stuff, and people were heavily altering the Silent Hill 2 remake page on Wikipedia, putting fake quotes. I think I saw some from like a Moist Critical type thing. So they were just kind of like making things up. They were changing review scores. So, if you go to a lot of the games and you scroll down, it gives you like a nice little block that shows you, hey, here's a bunch of the scores. Basically the Metacritic. I think it kind of summarizes the Metacritic average for the game. And they were changing the scores. So I think they dropped IGN by a couple points. I think Eurogamer or GameSpot or one of them gave the game, I think, a 5, and they turned it to a 0. And it's just pathetic. I mean, let me call it for what it is. Look, I am not against criticism. And this is where I think I kind of separate myself from a lot of other YouTubers out there. I'm not saying people can't be critical. I'm not saying people can't call things out. But this is not how you do it. This just makes you look pathetic. It really does. Like, this gives anybody who doesn't like aspects of it or wants to have a serious discussion. Now, I don't know. I haven't played it yet. But, if you want to have a serious discussion about an issue that you think is in the game, this doesn't help you. It really doesn't, right? It's the same thing with review bombing, I would argue. And we've talked about actually both kinds, because one kind isn't actually talked about that much. But review bombing, say, like on Metacritic, right? I remember when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, and it got all of those floods of zeros. Now, is The Last of Us Part 2 a 0 out of 10 game? No, that's ridiculous. It functions. So immediately it can't be a 0, at least in my opinion. But, for every one of those zeros, what I found interesting about The Last of Us, you had a flood of 10s that were also giving it perfect scores for no reason. So you had a lot of fake stuff on both sides. You had a lot of fake zeros and a lot of fake 10s. And I feel like it kind of ruins the entirety of the discussion of that game. Obviously, obviously as time has gone on, you can talk about it and things have gotten at least a little bit better, although we'll see when Season 2 comes out. But it's the same thing here, right? Like, it's kind of the same theme. Like, doing this doesn't help. You know what I mean? Like, scores on their own don't really matter anyway. Like I said, for me personally, it's more about what is said in the review versus the score at the end. Now, that's not true to many people. Many people still go to IGN, scroll down, and look at the score. And hey, on one side of things, I get it. Like, you have limited time. You want to see if a game's good. You scroll, you look at the score. If the score is a score you want it to be or you think is good, then that sells it to you. I think you need to read it, because oftentimes even the score doesn't really even match what was said in the review itself. But, I'm kind of getting away from myself. But I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel. I just feel it obviously is pathetic, but it takes away that discussion. Like, I am not opposed to discussing things and arguing about things and criticizing things. But when you go out of your way to, like, I mean, like, why do you need to alter other people's opinions? See, that is what I don't actually understand the most. So a lot of these people are so into, like, everybody's got their own opinion, right? And everybody should have their, and I'm actually on that side too. Everybody should have their own opinion. You do not have to listen to each other. You do not, I mean, that's just the way that it is, right? If you see IGN gives it an 8, that doesn't mean you have to give it an 8. It means IGN gave it an 8, right? So to change their score just kind of seems, it seems pathetic, because it doesn't actually matter. And these are the kinds of people that would tell you that their scores don't matter, and yet they feel the need that they have to change it. And all for what? Like, what is the biggest crime? Like, they changed the Angela's face? Like, is that the biggest thing that Silent Hill 2, and maybe like Maria's clothing? Those are the two biggest things. Although I'm pretty sure there's an Easter egg with, like, the original outfit of Maria in the game. So I don't, it's not worth it. It is worth a discussion if you want to have a discussion about changing of, like, the face models and whatever you want to say. That's fine. But to do this, to go out of your way to tamper with stuff. Now, I guess to end the video, we might be talking about a very small percentage of people, but also, I guess to add on, like, the game has been getting some serious, like, hardcore hate. I remember seeing an article a few days ago that I think I quote tweeted on Twitter where it was like, people are actively, like, against this game even when people are saying that they like it. Now, I don't really think you should rain on people's parades. You can have your own opinion without hurting, the excitement, let's say, of other people, but it really did feel like people were waiting for this game to fail. And I think that's kind of the summary of things. Not everybody, but some people were waiting on this game to fail. They were excited for the game to fail, and then the game didn't fail. At least right now it didn't fail, and now they're angry about it, and it's like, man, what a way to live. Honestly, again, you can have issues with it, but to, like, actively have that going on in your mind, I feel like it's just bad for you. You know what I mean? I feel like, number one, rooting for the game to fail before it even comes out feels kind of weird, right? At least for me. Like, I try to give games the benefit of the doubt more often than not, and they almost need to prove me wrong, versus the opposite. And then when the game comes out, and, at least, the reviews and stuff, and it's not 60s and 50s like they wanted it to be, then they have to change the scores to get the 60s. And see, that's like insecurity. It didn't get bad scores like they wanted. So instead of talking about it, just being rational and just, having a conversation, they changed the scores. Like, again, think about how pathetic that is. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know why I don't know why, like, this was the game that was labeled like you needed to hardcore go after it. Maybe it's because it's Silent Hill 2, right? And it gets a remake, but I don't know. Everything seems to be going okay except for this kind of faction of the fandom. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.